on it.
Try to get me in a room, yeah. Everybody wanna talk, why? Always coming with the tunes,
Yo, this is Drop 5 Podcast. We are back. This is your boy, Coach Chris.
It's your boy, Coach Miles.
And we got Coach Sue back in the building again, man. We about to go ahead and drop this Drop for 5, man. A lot happened in the NFL with free agency. Man, hey, things shook up, man. Things shook up the free agency. We thought it would happen. We had our foregone conclusions on how it was all going to play out. And the Justin Fields saga is kind of finally over. He was traded over to the Pittsburgh Steelers for, I believe, a 6th-round draft pick, conditional 4th, depending on how much time he plays. I think he has to play 51% of the time to turn that into a 4th-round draft pick. Huge implications, man, on what's going on, man, because he went to a program over there with Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh with Russ signing recently this year for veterans minimum. And they're talking about him signing a long-term deal after this season. So let's talk about it, man. How you guys feel? Sue, tell me, man, what's going on with the Sue with the Justin Fields trade? How you like it played out?
Ooh, boy. Pittsburgh made off like a fat rat. I tell you that. You know what I'm saying? To be able to get Russ for league minimum and come back around, and I think really possibly just sew up your backup position, and then also have the potential to have your future in the building. I think they accomplished that. Because to my understanding, it's Russell's job. They're not coming in to compete.
Yeah.
This is Russell's job. So I think it was a great job by the Steelers. A lot of people are looking at it very differently, but I think when you look at it for face value, Justin Fields hasn't won a lot of football games, hasn't put a winning product out on the field, and he's in the last year or so of his rookie contract, so his value isn't very high. So I think what they traded him for was fair, and that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes.
I agree, man. Miles, tell me how you. I know you've been itching to talk about this, man, and what happened. Tell me how you feel about all this, man.
Man, I actually I think it's a win for Justin Fields, and I don't know, man. I kind of think that it's also a of the Bears showing respect and trying to kind of not just sending them wherever they want to send them, and to get that compensation for him. I think they sent him to a place where maybe he could get developed. He's in a good situation where he could learn how to I don't know, maybe be a pro and just get into a different environment where he's in an established culture. And he sits behind the vet. He's got a run game. He's going to always have that. And I think he's going to be able to learn a lot. So I like it. The fact that they got him for a 6th
6th-rounder as a
and it could be and he's not playing 51% of the plays this year. That was cool. I think the Bears knew exactly what they were doing, and I think the deal says so. It's like, all right, well, you know what? Just so happens if he gets lucky and he gets so happen to ball out, we'll go ahead and take that 4th about you. But I think that's a great situation for him, man. I think it's a great situation for Russ too. And I think he'll be able to just play ball. I think it'll just be I think you see the old Russ. I think you see the old Russ.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I think you see he's got a run game. He's got a tight end. He's got 2-3 receivers. They're gonna draft a receiver. Like I think you're gonna see a lot of run bootleg Uh, uh, old Russ.
I like.
So yeah,
It's interesting how it all played out, man. Obviously the Steelers had Kenny Pickett on the roster when they signed Russell Wilson, and rumors have it that Kenny Pickett wasn't taking it well, wasn't really happy with the Russell Wilson signing, which led to the Pittsburgh pulling that trigger, trading him over to Philadelphia, and then ultimately getting Justin Fields for that 6th-round pick. And they also said that there was 4 other teams in the mix. A couple of were established quarterbacks that was actually offering more to the Chicago for Justin Fields, but they felt like they wanted to do right by him because Pittsburgh was on his list of 5 teams to go to. I personally feel like, man, I don't know how to feel yet, honestly. And I'll say this because he went to a good situation in time. It ultimately can turn out to be a good situation if he's optimistic, but if Russ balls out, man, like y'all say, and you feel like Russ is going to have one of his old Russ years, man, I expect him to have at least a extension for at least another 2 or 3 years, which will put Justin Fields almost in a situation where he ain't going to touch the field. And I know that he's going to develop and learn how to be a pro, but man, 2 or 3 years on the oak is
yeah. Well, 2 or 3 years on the oak, it ain't good. But
Yeah, I think
I think what happens. I think that Russ has a good year. I think Russ comes back. They sign Justin Fields again to another 1-year deal. And when Russ messes up, they stick him in, and kind of Justin Fields just goes on to be one of the greatest quarterbacks to be in Pittsburgh.
yeah, that's a. I mean, that could happen. That could happen. I think what's gonna happen is that Russ is gonna get going and lead that team to some success, and the Steelers are gonna find themselves, uh, well, Russ is not Russ, but Justin Fields gonna find himself in the same situation he's in now, back on the trading block, trying to sit him to the place that's give him the most value. Because Pittsburgh ain't worried about what's best for him. It's a business. They're gonna send him to the place that gives them the most value, and we'll see where that is at that point. Because right now it's all good because he's on that rookie contract.
right. So it both begs the question, man. He goes somewhere, say where he feels like more. But how do you assess his value at this point? You know what I mean? You traded him for a 6th-round pick. He doesn't touch the field much. If Russ balls out, another team now looking at Russ at Justin, it's like you have to release him next year. He's going to be on that point. He's on this 5th-year contract. At that point, you're going to have to pretty much just let him go for nothing, because who's gonna reach out to grab him when Sedor Sanders will be on the ticket for the draft?
It'll be based on need, bro. That's all. It'll be based
I
on need,
like,
and right now that I talked about it probably about a month and a half, 2 months ago. That class of 2021 quarterback draft class has tanked officially.
Yeah,
Has
man,
tanked.
that's been terrible.
It is
That's
tanked,
terrible ball
and
there, man.
and right now NFL organizations are rebounding from that. Right now, they're
yeah,
trying to rebound from it.
I agree. They all of them have pretty much been overtaken besides Trevor Lawrence and Brock Purdy. He being Mr. Irrelevant. You know what I mean? That it's kind of wild that draft class is that terrible. You know what I mean? But
And Trevor Lawrence, as well as he's played sometime and as shaky as he played, he's still on the fence now.
he's still on the fit, but I think he gets that contract, man. Seeing as though he took
Oh, he'll get the contract, but how good he's played, that's still in question.
I think he also been fighting injury too.
He has. I mean, they gave him a number 1 receiver, supposedly.
They just lost it.
And they just lost him. And they
Just
didn't really pick up.
Who, Gabe?
No,
They just
Calvin
signed Gabriel
Ridley.
Davis.
Calvin
Yeah,
Ridley.
he ain't no number 1.
Yeah, he's not.
Nah, he ain't no number 1. They probably gonna draft one.
They're doing, yeah. Well, hopefully they do because they're doing them a disservice if they don't. Trevor Lawrence, that is, seeing as though they're expecting to give him a big time deal. I'll be hesitant to sign anything without any kind of.
If I'm Mike Williams, I'm going to the Jaguars. What about Christian Kirk?
I like Christian. Christian ain't a number one though.
Definitely not number one.
I sign Mike Williams if I'm trying to sign Mike Williams.
Well, they say Mike Williams is looking to either get re-signed by the Chargers, seeing as though they traded Keenan Allen, which is a big trade that we need to talk about. Is going to Chicago. That was huge to add to Chicago. Man, they got some pieces over there for that young boy they got to draft. But Chargers may re-sign, and he's visiting the Jets this week. Also, he's visiting the Carolina Panthers. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm sure that Carolina gonna pay him the big bucks, but you gotta think, man. If
I'm going to New York,
I'm going to play with Aaron. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to A-Rod.
Deal off of Aaron Rodgers this year because he's gonna give me the biggest numbers. He's gonna get me the ball.
Their contract year.
Yeah, hell yeah, I'm going over there, man. Like if I'm Mike, you know what I mean. But we're gonna see you throw some big money. You know what I mean? Because he's still kind of young. He got a lot of a couple of years left on him.
Yeah, but he been banged up now.
He has been banged up. He
coming off something now.
Yeah.
So
the last 2-3 years
of Chicago, man, and what they're building over there, man. Do you see them as a contender with drafting Caleb Williams right now, or any quarterback for that matter, and what they're building around him through free agency right now?
Go ahead, Booby. I'll let you go first.
I mean, I like it. I think they brought in a lot of veteran leadership on both sides of the ball. I think they brought in good locker room guys. From what I've heard, like through the grapevine and whatnot, like. But with Byard in the secondary and Allen in the on offense, and I think they signed a lineman or two for some depth purposes. I'm pretty sure they'll use one of those draft picks to probably get one of those linemen. Especially with this whole draft class being kind of lineman heavy. I think they kind of sure that up for him, and I mean, and allow him to go. We'll see, and I don't know, man. It remains to be seen. If they can put it together, I like it, but I need to see it. I want to. We'll see. I don't know. I ain't all the way on it yet.
Well, what you got, Sue? How you feel about Chicago, man?
Man, I'm telling you this, man. I had a chance back in 2017 to go visit with the LA Rams the year before they made their run to the Super Bowl. And that time the OC was Shane Waldron. That's the OC in Chicago. And this offensive personnel looks very similar to what they had back then. With Swift at tailback. They actually had the tight end that was there in Los Angeles.
Shout out to the Columbia alum.
Yes, sir. So, what they're putting together, getting the addition of Keenan Allen was out of left field. I think he wanted to just go forward. They wanted him to renegotiate his contract with the Chargers, and he wasn't doing it. So they went ahead and made him available for trade. And I think the value that they got for him is phenomenal. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's up there with Mike Evans in consecutive 1,000-yard seasons, and just been super, super consistent. So I think there isn't a better situation you could go to as a rookie quarterback than there, because they're like Booby said, they're going to show up some things on the O-line with their second-round draft picks, because their first one's going to go to Caleb, and I think that second pick is going to go to an edge guy. Looks like it's going to be the guy Verse from Florida State. That's what they're saying. Yeah, that's what they're saying.
Mm.
So I mean, and Chicago's got more picks scattered throughout the draft that they're going to be able to fill that roster up with good talent. So I think they're doing some great things, man. Um, I see them putting themselves in position to challenge Green Bay and
Detroit.
poss-
Don't
and
forget Detroit.
possibly split 1-1, against Detroit. But they gotta fill that defensive roster up, man.
Speaking of, man, that's a heavy division right there, man. They just out of nowhere became a real strong division with what's going on. I personally think that they're putting everything in the bucket for Caleb, man, and they're saying, hey, dog, like there's no excuse now. Like you're that guy. Understand you're that guy. You want ownership in the team. There's all this talk about you not performing in the combine. You ain't doing any workouts. You already know you're the number one pick, and it's like, man, look, dog, I got you the number one receiver. I got you two receivers. You got DJ Moore still over there. I put over there. We got you a tight end in Gerald Everett, which is a great tight end. He's a great addition. He's the running back is Swift.
Cole Kmet.
Cole Kmet was already there. He's legit too.
He's
Man,
a baller.
Legit.
I'm not sure. Do they still have Khalil Herbert, or did he slide?
I'm not sure.
Man, listen, they have a squad over there, man. I think
That's the running back, right?
Yeah. I think it's gonna be interesting to see how they play out, man, for the rest of the year. I mean for the year. I don't see them, I see them kind of teetering like where they was last year, with his first year, Caleb Williams being out there. But,
7-10.
Yeah, man, because I still see Detroit being, man, Detroit gonna be real next year. Green Bay with Josh Jacobs, real next year. It's gonna be hard for them to squeeze out the wins that they're looking for with them just now getting together and trying to gel together. Man, you got to get new OC, you got new quarterback, new running back, new receivers, building chemistry together. It's gonna be hard, man. I do see them going edge. I mean, not edge rusher, tackle. I see them going tackle in the draft, protecting Caleb Williams at the 9th pick. I see them, building that O line, and then looking towards that defense. They already locked in Jalen Johnson, that corner, who was pretty big, man, in reference to ratings as a corner last year. I think he was number 2 overall as number 2 corner, man. So they're doing a lot of good things over there. I just think it's gonna be hard to compete in that division. And then NFC period, because you still got teams like the Niners, the Bucks, and so on. That's Dallas, Eagles, who added Saquon. That's gonna put pressure on those teams that's just starting to get good. But I do see the NFL in the good hands with this draft class, and then next year's draft class, because that's where I'm looking forward to. And we'll talk about that later, man. But that next year's draft class is going to be, I think, even more phenomenal in reference to this year, even though this one is kind of stacked heavy. So, yeah, man, speaking into to the draft and what we expect for the draft, how y'all see it playing out, man? Do you see the Jaden Williams, Jaden Daniels going number 2? You see May sliding in there number 2. We already know Caleb's going number 1. How you see those other 2 to 3, the 2 to 5?
Check this out. Minnesota made their move. All right. I'm not a huge fan of it necessarily. But the Texans traded out of the first round with Minnesota. I think they gained like 20-something, 24, 25 picks or something like that with a third round pick. But what it does is Minnesota now has 2 first round picks.
Mm-hmm.
I see Minnesota trading those 2 first round picks to jump up to the 3rd pick where New England is. I see New England coming out of that pick. Now Minnesota takes Drake May after Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams come off the board. And now it pushes New England down to a more comfortable spot at the bottom of the first round, and they take that man from Washington, from Tampa.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah,
I was going something else. I was going
yeah,
somewhere else. Yeah, you
yeah,
shot me with that one.
yeah.
I was thinking more so JJ McCarthy, something like that later
They
on.
Nah,
know
they
they
ain't
know
going no
better.
JJ.
They know better.
Yeah, they ain't going JJ.
He's a sleeper, man. Hey,
Think
nobody talking about that kid. And
that's ghost.
Oh
That's
my
ghost money.
God. Hey man, please don't
That's
wake me
ghost
up,
money.
man.
That's ghost money. Yeah, wake him up because that's bad. That's bad money. You bet on JJ you want to, boy.
Yeah,
He
you
ain't
bet on
shown. He ain't
JJ.
shown.
You bet on JJ if you want to.
I'm talking about Phoenix. Nobody's talking about Phoenix like that. I feel like he's real. He's
Oh,
kind of
Penix.
yeah.
Yeah,
Nobody's talking about him like that.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
And New England is happy with that.
JJ's going first round. Somebody's gonna take a chance on him. I'm not saying it's the right move. Someone's going to take a chance on him. There's too many quarterback needy teams.
Is
Such as
he the new Johnny Manziel?
you got Oakland, who needs a
He's worse
quarterback.
than Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, well, you got
Johnny Manziel was talented.
every year. There's a team that takes a chance on
Yeah,
a.
but JJ win though. He's won
Man,
since he's in high school.
that's cool.
Yeah,
That's cool.
it's a whole
That's
different
cool.
part.
Hey, so did Mac Jones.
Yeah,
So was Mac Jones.
Trevor Lawrence.
He won since high school.
Trevor Lawrence had 2 losses in high school, 1 loss in high school his whole career, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, I want to say he didn't lose in high school. Trevor Lawrence.
Nah, he did. He did.
Who did he lose to? I think he won 3 ships in a row at Carsville, if I'm not mistaken.
Hey, look, the verdict is still out on Trevor Lawrence. He's playing better than he's playing worse. He's just not playing great.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
He hasn't put up that season to make everybody wonder. I mean, say like, yeah, he was the legit number 1 pick and he deserved, you know what I mean? He deserved that contract. He didn't pull off the that magical season that I was looking for from Trevor Lawrence. I am expecting him to do that, man, but he hasn't done it yet. Although he has led the Jaguars to the playoffs, for the first time, which is in a long time, which is pretty good.
Yeah, they're just going backwards and supporting him by getting rid of Calvin Ridley.
I do like what you're going with that Minnesota. I do see that they are putting their chess pieces together to draft a quarterback. I thought more so like I didn't think 3 to piss from to the Patriots, but that does make a lot of sense. They're infamous for trading back in the draft, and Mayo, coming from that Belichick tree, he's probably thinking the same thing. Like, let me just gather up some picks, build a team together.
Need to. Got to get one more first rounder in the building.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense, man. But I didn't think Phoenix, man. I definitely was thinking more so JJ McCarthy. That's gonna be interesting if he goes there, or who picks him. Period, man, because he's a legit QB in my eyes. You know what I mean? But that's big time if you said that, man. Miles, how you see the 2 through 5, man? What big surprises do you see happening in that draft in those 2 through 5 mark? Obviously, we know Caleb's going number 1.
See, Alan, you think that it's Drake May, man? I think they may trade up to get Jaden Daniels.
To the number 2 spot?
Yeah, I think they may. I think they may try to get Jaden Daniels, but here's the connection with Washington and Drake May is the air raid plus the run and shoot that he did with Longo over at now he's at Wisconsin. So some of those concepts and terminology are similar to each other, which Cliff can get with what's his name, Longo, figure out what's the best way to use Drake May, and I think he has somewhat of a decent rookie season. He's got receivers. He's got a little bit of a run game. I mean, The question is he better than Sam Howell? Because I mean,
Who are we talking about right now? Drake May.
Drake May,
So I mean,
Same.
and then
Is
Jaden Daniels going to Minnesota
but check this
and
out.
linking
Is
up the LSU to LSU, kind
if
of
you're
like.
if you're Washington, do you Drake another you thinking about drafting another North Carolina quarterback right now?
yeah, that's tough.
You just got rid of one. Same offense, same deal. Just got rid of him. That shit didn't work.
So you think they go Jaden Daniels?
Absolutely, because he brings that element of being able to run the football. And whether you like him or not, he just he just broke NCAA records in the toughest conference to break them in.
No, I mean, I know all that. I know all that. I watch him each and every week. You know,
Hey,
so
listen, I'm gonna tell you this too, Miles. I've watched the Drake May film and I watched Jaden Daniels full games. It's not even close, Drake May.
Yeah,
It's not even close.
I think a lot of the Drake May is coming from last year. A lot of
man, Drake May is good, man.
Yeah. But Chris, look, the Jaden Daniels film, if you watch games, he makes a lot of explosives because teams in the SEC were playing a ton of cover one against him.
y'all both make valid points. I do like the connection of connecting the LSU thing together, man, because they got to do something to please Justin Jefferson. Because at this point, he's definitely, got the phone ready to call his agent, like, hey, man, y'all ready to pull that button?
But
Get me out
I
of
mean,
here.
here's the thing. What is he gonna sit out his 5th year? He's gonna play.
Crazy thing,
We just
crazy thing is
now at
they
this point we won't have a chance to get him back. We won't have a chance to re-sign him.
Yeah, you want compensation from him, right? You
Right.
want to get him for nothing and let him go
right,
to the agency. You want to trade him
right,
for Hall. So
right.
if I'm gonna get rid of him, I gotta get rid of him if he doesn't want to resign. Like, I'm testing his waters now. You trying to sign with us or not? If you're not, man, I gotta press the button. Justin Fields was he called it out. He went out there on live.
And I
Spoke
think
that,
that was one of the teams that
What
showed
if,
interest.
hey, check this out. What if, listen to this. This is a big what if, but it's possible. What if New England comes in and says, we'll give you our first rounder for just a first rounder and a second next year for Justin. And now Minnesota ends up with Justin and 2 first rounders.
wait, what?
Yeah, wait, what?
What
Wait,
if
say it again?
what if Minnesota trades
Okay.
Justin Jefferson to New England
To New England.
for their first round pick?
Okay.
And now they end up with being able to draft their quarterback at number 3, and they still have number 12 and number 23.
Yeah, but who's gonna be the quarterback in New England?
That's it. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that
Hey,
there's some people. I
but
think there's some.
they can if Penix is their guy, they can still take Penix in the second round.
You can take Penix in the second round, and you also how
you know Penix gonna make the second round?
as the bridge quarterback right there, right now. So you got somebody that know how to.
Yeah, you got a vet that could grow him up. You don't have to play him too early. Yeah.
Hey, man, these are some crazy scenarios. Obviously, that's what we're playing right now, man.
I don't think anybody lets Penix drop out the
He
first
is.
round.
He has. This is the thing. He almost has to, because when you look at the quarterbacks that are listed ahead of him, I mean, you gotta look. How many quarterbacks?
He getting no love. Yeah, they disrespecting him, bro.
You got obviously Caleb, Jaden, May, McCarthy. There's also talks of other QBs. What's the other guy that was talking about going ahead of him? Phoenix ain't getting no love, man. There's a good chance that he drops to the second round unless a team like Las Vegas. Sorry, let me correct myself. Las Vegas say, hey man, hey, we got Gardner Minshew over here, starting quarterback. We got a bridge quarterback. Let's go ahead and get Phoenix, sit them down for a little while. And
They're out of that though. They're out of it though, because Aiden, the guy who started for him last year, when he was a rookie, so they already went through starting a rookie, and they feel good about him being the backup. You know what I'm saying, to Minshew.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying? But
I don't know how I feel about Aiden, but I mean I get that. Yeah, I don't know if I feel about Aiden.
But this the thing though. He made some plays sometime. He didn't have much help. And like I'm thinking more of a team like Atlanta, who signed Kurt for what they signed him for, but is he really gonna play 4 more years? That's why I feel good about the way Atlanta did what they did with that contract. Because I don't see Kirk playing 4 more years. I see him playing 3 max. 3 max.
I don't know, man. Him being on turf in Atlanta, you know,
that don't change nothing. That make it worse. That make it worse playing on turf. That's why them boys, all the NFLPA is getting together and want everybody to change the grass. You're gonna see everybody go to grass soon because the NFLPA is involved.
Mm-hmm. How old is Kirk Cousins?
36.
See?
Okay, I got you. I see.
See where I'm going with it?
I see where you're going with that.
He may get to 38. Now you got Penix waiting in the wings. 2 years, 3 years of 4 or 5 years of being healthy in a row, and he's ready to come in and drop deep balls. Because y'all know we done seen enough of that. Like it's so disrespectful how they treating him in this draft process.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible.
So disrespectful.
He was bombs at the combine, man. I'm hearing like he had a pretty good combine, so it's crazy that he's not getting the love that we all thought he would get. Or at least we thought he would get. But I have one more question, man. Like before we head out, man. This is a little bit off topic, but it is something that we want to talk about with 3 coaches on.
You can't hear you. You got your microphone. You got your microphone blocked.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right, good, man. Yeah, so I got one more question, man. I kind of want to talk about this. There's been a debate going on. Cam kind of put it out there the other day. He was talking about it, man. He say speed, as far as speed and track times in the NFL, or track times translate into football. Let's say that track times translate into football.
40 times or track times?
Track times. We're talking about track times. With 100s, 200s, relays, whatever. We're talking about track times translating to football. And if it does, how much do you base your scouting or your evaluation of a player off of those track times?
You want to jump on it first, Booby? Because I got a lot to say about this.
I kind of think I know how you feel about it. I really want to get yours first, because I think I know how Booby feel about this one.
All right, so here's the deal, right? When it comes to track times, and this is from my experience in college recruiting, when you track times in levels of importance, track time should come after game speed, what you see on tape. But the kids that are bona fide dudes have the game speed and the track time. So you can't negate it. A lot of people try to say, oh, he just track fast. Well, as a coach, I'll take a track fast kid because I'm going to teach him how to I'm going to drill him in football moves to make him a better football player. But I know one thing about it, you can't coach is that straight line speed. But I won't allow a track time to make me take a kid who I watch doesn't run by people. You know what I'm saying? If he ain't running by, he run 10-6, but every time he runs go routes, guys is still in his hip pocket. He can't, when it comes to like him being able to slow down and change direction, I got to see him play because those might be things I can coach to help him change direction better. Those are usually the things you got to work with. But it's give and take, man. You can't be too heavy on either side of it. That's my take on it.
Ma, what's your take on it, man? Even though I kind of got an idea. Let's hear it live in on wax.
I mean, here's my thing is, man. Like, yeah, it's just to kind of like piggyback off of what Coach Suber said. Like, you got kids that have these track times and they're not running by people. You really can't see it. It's really not translating to the field. And then sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't. But my whole thing with track is I don't mind it. Like, it's cool to go compete and things like that. But there's two things to me when it comes to track, especially when you're talking, with the whole mental health thing now with these kids and things like that. I think that track can sometimes. I mean, it can tear a kid down, and I mean, some people just not built for track. Yeah, it can get you fast and things like that. But here's what I'm gonna say: if you gonna get fast, you're gonna get fast in practice. Like, that's where you're gonna get fast at. I mean, that's what I think. And maybe I'm wrong. I've never been to a track practice like that, but
Yeah,
I
my
don't know.
experience, you definitely get faster from track.
Yeah,
You know what
I'm
I'm
gonna
saying?
say this. My stance on this is, because I believe I understand the value of track. I do understand the value of track. One, track is a it's really a mental competition. You're almost fighting, you're battling yourself to get better. You're fighting your time. That time
Mm-hmm.
that's a hard thing to beat because you're competing against yourself and you're
Mm-hmm.
competing against that time. So it does develop a level of competition mentally, that I think is definitely needed in sports. Period. However, when it comes to football itself, I've watched kids that I believe on football field, and like you said, you kind of hinted at. Football speed is different than track speed in some cases, and I've seen kids fly on the football field where you can see a safety cover from hash to hash, man, and he's tearing, and it's like, damn, he's gaining ground.
Mm-hmm.
But when you run in track, the kid is just not that fast. It just that straight line speed just doesn't seem like it's there, and I don't foresee that as a hindrance to the kid. I do see that as something that he can develop at. But I wouldn't say that that's my thing where I would look at it and be like, hey, man, I'm going to take a 10-6 kid who, like you said, can't really do much football stuff. He can run 10-6. He's fast as hell, but he can't do much football stuff. I'm going to take the football kid who can do all the football stuff, but is slower than that kid. And I just feel like I can put him in track to learn how to run. He may not ever get as fast as that 10-6 kid, but he will be able to dominate his domain, which is football.
I
You
like
know what I
I like
mean?
I like them quick, man. I like my receivers to be
Football
quick.
speed. I like football speed. I like
Yeah,
kids that can
I
move
want.
from change of direction, twitchy, can go, sideline to sideline or angles and diangles. Football is about angles. It's not
I'm gonna
always
say
about
this.
speed.
I'm gonna say this. Bullshit football ain't always about speed. What the first thing they say on that game, John Madden? Speed kills.
Yeah,
Speed
yeah,
kills.
it
Speed kills.
does.
That'll never change in football.
That'll
Ever, ever,
never
ever. And
change.
I'm gonna say this. Booby. I recall you having a super fast ass receiver, and he playing in college right now, and he could do all of it.
Yeah.
Now you ain't have no fast receivers last year. You ain't have nobody that had 1,000 yards. You had a bunch of dudes under this a ton of catches, quick, super
Ton of
quick.
catches.
You better go.
Yeah, right.
Better
But
go.
guess
You better
what?
go get you some. Better go get you some straight line speed, boy.
Hey man,
We
Cause that
good,
dude
man.
is
We
in
good. We
college.
good. We good.
That dude is in
You know
college
what,
doing
man?
it.
That group that I had, man, I love that group because one thing they was reliable. They was
I'm
reliable,
just,
man. They
I'm
was
just talking about.
reliable,
speed.
We look at
and they
listen.
played
I'm not knocking them. I'm
and
not
they.
knocking them at all. Y'all won double digit games. But what I'm saying is, when it relates to speed, the
I
speed that
mean,
you had
yeah,
in
but what I'm
prior
that,
receiving
yeah, but
cores
it's not
was
everything.
dominant.
Like, yeah, you would love to
That shit
have
can
it.
open the
And
game
shout
up
out,
at any time.
Here's the
yeah, and
thing.
shout out to my boy JT though.
And
We
shout
I
out to
spent
JT.
time with him this
Here's
past weekend, man.
here's the
He
thing
say,
though. You
huh?
you've had we've had also 10, 9, 10, 8 kids, man, that couldn't separate. Word for damn.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
we've had the rid of the litter that's, and it could just be track kids. You know what I'm saying? These are just track kids. Like sometimes they're just track kids. Not to say they're not good football players, because that track speed is gonna make you a good football player. But some of them don't have the grit, the intensity, the intangibles, the smarts to play football. And that's just how I see it sometimes. I like track. I love it. But I would never base a football player and say, hey, dog, because you can't run fast in track, I don't know how good of a football player you are. I don't think you're that good of a football player. And that's where, the question, I kind of was getting at. Because it's like, I feel like a lot of our today's, even with the drills in the combine and, the 40s and all the above, man, we put a lot of emphasis on those times. And we watch a lot of these combine guys who run the fastest times. Some of them pan out. Some of them we don't even talk about anymore. You know what I mean? John Ross. You know what I mean? Ran the fastest, and it's hard to get on the field. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
we can
yeah,
talk
yeah.
about these guys till we blue in the face. But the greatest receiver of all time,
I forgot about Ross.
the greatest receiver of all time, Jerry Rice, ran a 4.7. You know what I mean? So
He ain't run no damn
that's
4.7.
recorded. Google
He
it.
ran 4.5, man. Get the
It's
fuck out
recorded.
of here,
Google it. It
man.
said 4.7.
You out of your mind,
Even
man.
even even so,
Come on, man.
even so,
Why you? How you? I can't let you do black college like that.
no,
No damn
that's
folks.
recorded.
You ain't run no damn 4.7,
That's
man.
what's recorded. That's what's
Man,
recorded.
nah, that's a damn lie recorded.
We can Google
No
his 40
Jerry
time.
Rice and run no damn
Google his
4.7,
40
man.
time, man. Google his
Man,
40
you
time right
tripping,
now. You right
man.
put up. I'm sure you right on the computer. Google his 40
I
time.
know that's wrong, so I'm not Googling that.
So you tell me that. So
Jerry Rice
I
run no
don't
damn
know what. I wasn't in black college back then. All I can know is
man,
when Jerry Rice was in
like
college, coming out of college,
motherfucking hamstring just started growing different or something.
I was just being born.
Talking about you wasn't in black college back then, man.
I was just
Motherfuckers
being
could
born when
run.
Jerry Rice ran his 40. I was
Man, you gotta
85
cut.
when Jerry ran his 40.
Man, I don't care. He ain't run no damn
And
4.7.
that's what's recorded. The point
Nah,
of it
ain't
all
no.
is, man, Jerry Rice, in which they consider, one of the not fastest receivers, you know what I mean, had different intangible in comparison to the guys that was
Yeah,
running those fast times.
he's a master of separation technique.
Exactly. And that's a football player. That's all I'm saying.
That's football.
He's a football guy. That's a football player that does football things. And although he, probably wasn't going to be a track star, he can make football plays. You know what I mean? So that was just the
Man,
point of that.
how dare you disrespect? How dare you disrespect the greatest receiver of all time?
Disrespecting him. I told you. I say
4.7,
that's
4.7.
that's the greatest of all times that I already proclaimed. But if I see 4.7 on Google, and that's what I see,
Man,
40,
find another search engine, man. Go with something else.
They got a monopoly right now.
Your mic messing up again.
It's hard to do that. They got a monopoly. They got a monopoly right now. But even still, man. Hey, this was a great episode. We touched on a lot of topics. There's a lot more to come. I mean, free agency is not over. A lot of moves being made. The draft is coming up. So we'll definitely be having some more conversations before then. And until then, it's been a pleasure, man. This is Drop 5 Podcast. It's your boy, Coach Chris.
It's your boy, Coach Miles.
Coach Sue. Shout out. Appreciate you all, man. Let's have a good night. See you soon.
That.